What's good, family? You know, we're back with a different scenery today, y'all. But the sun is still shining, so light is everlasting. Remember, y'all, children of the sun, you are, I am. That's why this video has found you. But today's topic is why the soulless attack the souls, you know? Well, if you clicked on this, your soul clicked on it for you because you were caught by the, what your retinas has seen, y'all. We are attracted to things what we see physically, right? But then the light, it backs your information up. So then that's when you find, someone you truly, get, and then you suck that information up because you learn to help yourself with it, family? But, I have a soul, family. I'm a creator, You might be a creator as well, even if you don't post content, but you watch me because you are still getting the fruits of what life is offering you. You haven't created nothing because you can start, but you can. Don't overthink about it too much, chosen one. But think about this, your world that you live on, y'all. We were indoctrinated, we were told to go to school, we didn't have a say so in it. But once you realize that there was a bunch of shit set in regulations for us, you start questioning why was that the case. Because, y'all, they needed to blind your soul, They couldn't have your soul living for the vessel. Think about it, y'all. For the ones that have the souls, well, your soul and your ego is two different things, y'all. Yes, the ego is within the highest self that makes up the soul, but the ego was something that was, forced to live in because you live in the ego every day. You lower your vibration and you believe in that bullshit that's toxic around you, That's what the ego is, y'all. But the highest self has enough, humbleness in him to remind himself that the ego is never gonna win nothing, but cause you to lose yourself faster, family? So remember this. Well, your soul is being attacked, y'all, because you have energy. You have creative energy at that, y'all. Your shit comes from the cosmos above. So the waters that you see above, y'all, your shit is what spawned from, realms above this. And that's why your energy is sought after like fucking food, There's nothing you could do about that, y'all. That's why you gotta protect your energy, chosen one. You must protect it. Once you realize that you are being siphoned or drained or being harvested like a fucking crop, y'all, I advise y'all, to go within, get closer to God, y'all. And if he tells you to go outside and let that sun charge you up, you better, because you need this energy, y'all. It's helping you. A lot of things that I have been noticing, y'all, are that once you rise so high, y'all, well, these demons or these parasites, or should I say these soulless motherfuckers, y'all, they can't attach themselves to you. And that's why, when you're high vibration, y'all, they can't, have a genuine conversation with you and just suck the fucking energy out of your soul, because they really can't even look at you like that fully, y'all. They can't fully stare at your eyes for 5 minutes straight, y'all, because that light, it does something to them demons, y'all. You think that that's who they are because of their name, but this is a spiritual world, y'all. This ain't a physical world. It's a spiritual world, Physically, you have the control to build up your spirit. Not everybody will. So it's gonna get to a point, y'all, where you're gonna have to, really protect your fucking energy, y'all, because you're gonna get to a point in self-love where you start feeling love for everybody. But that's not how they will feel about you, because love ain't genuine for everyone, y'all. You have a soul, so you are guided to work on your spirit. Everybody don't have a soul, y'all, so that's why it's harder for them to take control of their spirit. Yes, they have a spirit, but no soul, because they are choosing to hang with the motherfuckers that taught them everything instead of trying to become somebody on their own, But it's fascinating, yo. All you gotta do is, have patience with yourself, yo, and just watch as time unfolds, yo, and your energy rises because there's nothing they can do about that, yo. You know, you have free will, but just because you have it. So remember, family, your willpower, you gotta protect that. It's your confidence, family. That's what builds your confidence and makes you stronger. But you build it internally, family. So that's why you gotta have energy within. If you're depleted, yo, you have no life force. So you're fully not living, At your natural state, yo, you have energy. That's why SR is so fucking important, yo. There's more to life than, lusting after people. That's negative energy, yo. That shit don't even exist, yo. It was something that was brought down here through a concept, and you force yourself to live that rabbit hole. That's why you must protect your mind, yo, because these fucking parasites, yo, or just these demons, yo, they will use beings to get that fucking energy from you because you're a beacon of light, yo. Your shit manifests whatever it is you do. So why wouldn't they try you? That's exactly why you gotta have a fucking barrier upon your shit, family. You ain't protected out here, yo. Well then you don't know the fucking war that's actually being, taken out on you, people, family, But just think about that, family. Because not everybody's gonna get it. Why you think a chosen one don't like to be around the public, yo? The public will look at the chosen one like they can't be around them. Not because you ugly or because you skinny, you smarter, you stronger. It's energy wise, yo. You have more energy than them. And it's too much to the point where they don't want to surround themselves with you, yo, because they don't even want your high energy. Because they're contented at that lower state of existence, They like barely surviving off a fucking, host. You're fully living though because you're, in control of your life. But those lesser beings, yo, they have no, tunnel vision. So they like to distract you and try to get you to lose focus on what you are, planning. And that's why you see it in your reality, family, when the souls, are getting fucking harassed or going through, torment, because the soulless don't have nothing to strive for, yo. The only thing the soulless mission was to seek and destroy, they're seekers and destroyers at heart, yo. And that's why they didn't want your ass here. They wanted you to be asleep. They wanted you to feed like everybody else. But you became the motherfucker that kills them, yo. Energy wise, because they don't even want to be around your aura. They don't even want to touch shit you've been around because your energy is literally an imprint that was left here by you. And I've noticed that because I've studied my reality too long, You don't want to open up portals for lesser beings to try to pull that energy from you because whether they know about the conscious shift or not, yo, you're making it because you're healing. You're putting that work in. And you're reminding the Most High that you heard the call. So while your mind is metamorphosing and you're getting the downloads, the Most High is, metamorphosing your physical life state, y'all. So your body, how it's physical, is going back to how it always was. True crystalline, truly, you want to say, bulletproof. Because before fucking guns and anything that was made for us, we were always here, And we didn't need no fucking internet, y'all. Because how the fuck did we survive ages ago without it? You crash the internet, y'all. The more higher you feel, the better you feel feel about life, y'all, the more energy you have. And I noticed, y'all, that your phone will glitch. You have it in your hand too long because the internet came from you, and it can't sustain itself. The higher you have your energy, you know. There's a reason why they want us to have no seed, y'all, because when you're trained, you feed everything that's synthetic. But when you are built, you fucking naturally, you know, kill off anything that's harming you, because that shit ain't meant to be here, you know. So question that. Question why you dislocate every fucking technology, y'all, when you are vibrating high, because you are a true source of energy. The computers come from you, you know. That's why they can't have your ass shining bright out here, you know. But it's something to think about, you know, family. But this is why the soulless try to attack the souls. You don't gotta do nothing, y'all, but just live and stay present, and you will see how these motherfuckers end up glitching, or just, you know, find yourself stuck in negativity, because that's all they live in. You know, they're like crabs in a bucket, y'all. They can't escape it without finding someone to suck dry like you. So protect your fucking energy, family, before you lose it all, you know. I'll see y'all. Keep your head high, chosen one.